Meantime, we got some news for you right now. The Trump administration out with a response to Lisa Cook's lawsuit this morning. And Eamon Javers is in Washington right now. He's actually at the courthouse. Eamon.
Yeah, that's right, Andrew. This response just dropped within the past couple of minutes on the court system. We're waiting, remember, for that hearing with Lisa Cook here at the courthouse at 10 a.m. Eastern. This is the Department of Justice's response to her lawsuit in advance of that hearing. Lisa Cook is looking for a temporary restraining order from the court here to block the president's attempt to fire her. The Department of Justice now issuing this filing saying that's unnecessary. The attempt to fire her should go forward. They're citing a couple of things here. Most importantly, what they're saying in this filing, Andrew, is that the president's authority to fire people for cause from the Fed is broad and is at his discretion. And they're also saying that Lisa Cook really hasn't defended herself in public. They say, incredibly, Dr. Cook, even now, hazards no explanation for her conduct and points to nothing she would say or prove in any hearing that would conceivably alter the president's determination that the perception of financial misconduct alone is intolerable in this role. Under these circumstances, they write, there is certainly no equitable basis for a reinstatement injunction. One point on that, in Dr. Cook's filing yesterday in the initial lawsuit, she wrote that if there was a clerical error in her mortgage applications, that she did not make that clerical error. But even if there was a clerical error, that would not be grounds for firing. So she has defended herself in those terms. They're also rebutting here a procedural objection that Dr. Cook raises. They say Dr. Cook also presses a procedural objection that she was deprived of notice and an opportunity to respond to the president's concern. But no court has ever extended these due process protections for employees to principal officers of the United States. In any case, the president gave Dr. Cook notice when he publicized the FHFA referral on August 20th and only acted to terminate her 5 days later after it was clear that no adequate response was forthcoming. So what the Department of Justice is arguing here is that all this played out in public. She had 5 days at least to respond to it in public. She did not to their satisfaction. Therefore, the president decided to fire her. They are urging this court not to give any restraining order to allow the president to continue to take action against Dr. Cook. We'll see what happens at 10 o'clock.
Eamon, I have two questions for you. One is, you made a comment that when you looked through her filing yesterday, that she did defend herself. We've commented a little bit this morning on this clerical error idea that was suggested. It was really in one sentence. But you just said something different, or in addition to, that she said that she didn't do it herself?
Yeah, so the idea that she raises in her filing is that if there was a clerical error, and they say she did not make a clerical error, but even if there was one, that would not be grounds for the president to have cause to fire her, right? So the question here is, what is her defense ultimately going to be? Is it going to be that she didn't fill out those forms herself, that she wasn't aware of those forms, that it was simply a mistake and it was an innocent mistake and not enough grounds for the for-cause provision to be invoked here? What she says in the filing is that she did not make a clerical error. So, take that for what it is. She's defending herself both on the merits and also on this possibility that there was an error, saying even if there was an error, that's not enough.
Eamon, just remind us what time this hearing starts, how long it's meant to take, but also, and this might be a basic question, but I think it's important to get the clarity, who is seeking the injunction against who here? If there wasn't this injunction granted, is she already fired? I still get confused about that. Or is this the government trying to enforce the firing?
Yeah, it is confusing here. So the president has taken steps to attempt to fire Lisa Cook. Lisa Cook has now filed a lawsuit to block that, saying the president doesn't have the authority to do that under the law under the statute that sets up the Federal Reserve. Now what we're seeing is a hearing in which the judge is going to be asked under this lawsuit to file an injunction blocking the president's attempt to fire her from moving forward while this court proceeding is ongoing, right? So what Cook is saying here is just stop this entirely while we adjudicate all this in court, and then ultimately it'll be up to the court to make a decision here, but for temporarily stop this from happening. What the government is saying in this filing that they just dropped, the Department of Justice on behalf of President Trump, is no such restraining order is necessary. The firing should move forward, even if she's suing in court. We want to fire her and have her moved out of this position immediately. So, there's been this sort of gray area about whether Lisa Cook is or is not a member of the Federal Reserve Board right now. And you saw from Steve Leisman earlier the filing from the Fed, which is also named in this lawsuit. Their filing essentially sort of throws up its hands and says, we're being sued here, but we don't really have a position. We'll send somebody to the hearing this morning, but ultimately, we're going to wait for the court's decision. So the Fed is trying to sit this one out and not take a position. We'll see what they say, if anything, in court today. That's at 10 o'clock.